Hey everybody, it's Tim at Broken Dice bringing you a quick little channel update. This is another video on my ongoing solo wargaming campaign with the Romans versus the tribes of the Iberian Peninsula. I'm going to warn you, this is going to be a little bit longer video. There was a lot going on. A lot of things happened. It wasn't just like straight up rolling and things were, all the weird stuff was happening. So let's get into this and see if I can't stay on topic and not ramble too much. All right, on the Iberian orders phase. Uh, on the Iberian left, we have some charges. Now, uh, I want to bring your attention to the left side of this photo. You see the front uh, Iberian unit with the little brown arrow facing the Romans. That unit is the lead Scutari unit from, or Celt-Iberian unit from the Celt-Iberian division. The ones that in the last video that were, suffering, they had all the disorder from being shot at by the scorpions, and units had to give ground, and they had to take disorder tests, and 2 out of the 4 failed, and it turned into quite the disaster. So on this turn, I rolled high enough on an individual order for that unit to charge the Romans. But the other 2 units that are right behind them, they're from a different division. Because the other individual order that I set out uh, to have like some supports for them, they only passed their order by 1, and so they're like the 3rd unit back, and it's like, oh great. So it's turned into like a very jumbled mess on this side of the table. Kind of crazy. Um, and we'll go over a little bit more of that as we go through the game. Okay, in the center, obviously this is really bad because the Iberian general, he blundered his divisional roll. And we rolled up, and it's the one where they shift to the right 1 move. Well, that didn't help the situation out any. Trust me, for the Iberians. That's just another delay in getting their numbers into combat, and you know, yeah, that's not going to work out well, I don't think. And then again, now you've got units behind their division that's on the far right, and it's turned it into a jumbled mess. And then on the far right division, other than that, the cavalry that was already engaged in combat with the Roman cavalry, they just went ahead and moved 2 moves. Okay, here's another little picture. This is from the Roman side of the table, so you can see what's kind of gone on here. Uh, yeah, we'll start with the top left in this photograph. This is the left Iberian division. They advanced 2 moves. You see in the center the blunder by the Iberian general. So some of his units have shifted to the right, and so here we have. Okay, you can see with the little marker there that says charge. That's the lead unit, and that long brown arrow that's toward the center of the table. That shows their starting position and where they ended up. They 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 passed it by 3, so they charged a long distance, but they ran into to that scorpion crew. Um, but the division that's on would be on the Iberian the Roman right, the right top part of this photograph. They rolled high enough to where they could move into that gap between the disordered units at the top of of the photograph and the one that wasn't, and that made the charge into the Romans. So it's turned into that kind of a swirling mass sort of thing where you've got interloping units, and I don't know how this is going to turn out. This was really crazy. All right, and this is for the view from the Roman side. You can see this is kind of a close-up view down on the table. I like this picture. I like this picture a lot. All right, we're into the combat phase. Okay, yeah, The Scutari are going to make the Celt-Iberian warriors are going to make short work of this Scorpion crew. It's yeah, it's not long for this world. It's gone. They do a sweeping advance into the cohort, but this is important. They failed their disorder roll for the sweeping advance. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good for them. So in the combat, back and forth, they become shaken and they're disordered and they break. So, yeah, that did not turn out well for the Iberians, not at all. All right, let's switch to the other side of the table, or the other combat, that the ongoing swirling mass of cavalry we got over there. And let's see, let me check my notes. Let's make sure we get this right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. In at this part of the phase, I got to make sure I get this in the right order. That the Iberian cavalry um, and the Roman cavalry, they did that where you do the counter charge, and so both of them get their bonuses and all that sort of stuff. And they fairly even up fight. The Roman lost by one, but they did give ground and they are disordered. That was the roll that came up. That'll play out a little bit. I thought would have a much bigger deal. To me, it's always when it comes down to these tribal warfare games against the Romans, it always comes down to that cavalry. Can they win quick enough? Can they become a significant factor in the game? And well, yet to be seen. Yet to be seen. Here's a side view of that. You can see where the Roman cavalry are starting to get pushed back down the hill out of that lightly wooded rise. Okay, now we've done that. Now we're back into the Roman order phase. And this photo is rather incomplete. I don't know why I didn't complete the. I normally put the arrows on so everybody who's following along can see. You can see over here on the left, I showed there that was a divisional order by the Roman general to have his units advance and charge. They passed their orders by quite a bit. I think they got three. Yeah, they got three moves, and so they were able to move on and into combat. And the same really came to pass over here on the right. I don't know why I don't have that indicated, but sorry about this. But the Roman right division, they also passed their orders, and they were also able to get into combat. And a lot of units were able to get into positions of support. All right, this is from the Roman general's position. This is from the right commander's position after the loss, after that one Scutari unit got their asses handed to them. And then this is a much better photograph of what I wanted to let you see how this intermixing of the units. You can see down here on the kind of like the bottom center of the screen where these back two units, they were of that Celt-Iberian division, and they were the ones that were disordered. Now, this is at the end of the turn. I just put this photo in here so you could get a better idea of how jumbled up this was at one moment in time. And so now we've got three units left of that division, and the four units, including this left cavalry division of the other Celt-Iberian division that was on the table, and they're coming around the trees because I made the trees really close together and made it kind of like only like for light troops could actually really go through there and maneuver through their open order units, as it were. None of these units count as being open order, so they had to go around and find their way through. It could work out to their benefit in this turn, in the next turn, where that one unit got destroyed by the Romans. Maybe open up some movement towards their front, but I'm not sure. It's never a good idea to lose a unit on the table early on in a game, but perhaps it may work out for them. Okay, back to the other side of the table. So I guess we're into the Romans combat here, and again, they even though they were disordered, it was they rolled high enough to where they got to hold their ground with no penalty. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I put this little green box on here to show that it gives ground and disordered. That was in the combat phase at the beginning. Um, because I had forgot to put that on there. I rolled the dice as if they were disordered, but I forgot to put the little marker down on the table. Okay, here we go. We're back into the Romans again. This charge to the front. You can see all the little red arrows advancing forward. Here we go, another view. Here we are into the combat phase. Now, you can see here in the center this um, one cohort that's right in the center of the table. There was nobody in front of them because obviously the Iberian general has decided to do a little dance step to the right and not advance forward, so there was no one in his path. So I moved them up straight as possible. The other parts of this division gathered together with one cohort behind the other. They have supporting scorpions. Um, Yeah, you've got one fighting unit, three supports. You've got a open order unit of slingers on their left. Then you, on the further left, you see the ongoing cavalry combat. Okay, here's another photo. Okay, now here's as they charged in on that lead Iberian Scutari unit, they wiped them slick. It wasn't even close with all the supports and everything. They just wow. It wound up. It was like they lost by 6. They rolled. If there was negative numbers, they would have had negative numbers on their break test roll, but there's not. So yeah, they they just turned into a pink vapor and disappeared. Oh yeah, here's a close up. Some of these pictures are pretty good. I like these. It's close up of the combat. Here's another close up of the combat situation. You can see the supporting um, scorpions there. Here we go. There's the Scutari unit that's right here in the middle of the screen. That's the one that's being run over. You can see that they have 5 damage and they're fighting back valiantly, but no avail. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That was okay. I'm sorry about this. I got a little ahead of myself on one of these that they fell back. Uh, they uh, they didn't break from combat. They were beaten, and they rolled high enough to where they gave ground, but without penalty. And I thought, what? After getting a butt whooping like that? But that's dice rolling for you. You can see the empty space where they were. They bounced through the 2 units on the left, the 2 in front of the Roman cohort, and they bounced right on through and out the back, therefore opening up the Romans for a sweeping advance in which they passed their um, test for disorder. Yeah, it wasn't very good for them right off the bat. So, and then we have this little tit for tat little combat between some open order units, some catrate, and some slingers. Okay, here's moving forward, and I don't. Oh, this picture is out of order. This was earlier on. This is during the early part of the charge phase. Oh, sorry about that. I should have brought that. No, this is more towards the middle. This is the yeah. this center unit right here with the scorpion, unpainted scorpion in front of them. I know, boo, hiss, unpainted models on the table. Ouch! Well, anyway, this is that unit that's in the middle of the table facing the Iberian Generals unit that blundered and that's out in the middle of nowhere. And at the top, you can see the charge that the cohort that just wiped out that charging unit of Scutari on the Iberian turn, they're getting ready to charge the Iberians. Yeah, here's a nice little photo. Now this is taken on the Roman right, but it's from behind the Iberian troops. Uh, these troops that are right here in the front of the photo, the guys in the white and this Celt-Iberi unit, they're not in contact. They're not supporting this unit that's in front of them. Um, the uh, the Romans are being supported by their own guys. You can see that again. This is the unit right here in front. That's the one that's moving into open air, basically on the battlefield. But the ones at the top of the screen, they're the ones that are have charged into the Celt-Iberians, and there's one cohort is supporting the other, and then on the opposite side, I do believe the slingers are out there supporting. Yeah, here we go. This is a close-up of the combat. Like that one. And yep, they're gone. They disappeared in a puff of smoke. Poof. You got a full-size Roman cohort with supports coming at you, and you're not supported. That's not a good plan for the Celt-Iberians. Okay, you can see this little black arrow shows that they're going to do a sweeping advance. They passed their test for disorder, and they launched themselves right into another combat. And this was interesting. I really thought that they would blow through these guys, but they didn't. Um, I rolled really, really well. I mean, I hit with everything for uh, my Celt-Iberians. It was a drawn combat. Very interesting. I didn't see that coming. I really thought the Romans would at least push them back in disorder and really put the Iberians under a lot of pressure, but they failed to do so. They also, the lead unit is now also shaken. And so here we go. Let's take a look at this side of the battlefield. You can see how deeply the Roman left division and the Roman general in the middle of the photo, how deep they've pushed into this um, Iberian side of the table. Doesn't look good. There's a lot of pressure on those units, but we still have the Iberian General's division yet to be engaged. That's still quite possible as long as the Iberian cavalry don't break. We still have enough units for that division to stay on the table. And we got to remember, there's also some Roman reserves that haven't even got on the table yet. So this could be bad. This is where I find this very interesting with the Hail Caesar rules, to where, well, like with the blunders and things can happen within this game that really are not, a lot of war games is everything's always working, everything's always doing what I want it to do, and then we deal with the dice. Here in this throws you some real challenges early on, and with that blunder by the Iberian general, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Okay, again, I wanted to reiterate that this Roman cavalry division is disordered. That will play out in the next turn, in turn 3, for the Iberians. I do believe. I haven't played it out yet, but we'll see how that's going to go. On the Roman right, you can see where the two Roman cohorts are locked in combat with a unit of Celt-Iberian warriors, and there's a lot of extra Celt-Iberian warriors yet to be engaged in the combat. Again, they will go first on this next turn, and so it'll all come down to their orders. If they can get their orders to where they can actually get some supports and get these Romans, locked up in some combats and win some combats, it can switch over. But if they don't, I think this game could be over at least by the end of turn 3 or beginning of turn 4, because they really need to have something go their way. Well, that's the end of this video. I hope everybody's enjoyed this one. This one's a little bit longer than normal. There was a lot going on. And here we go. This is another same sort of picture showing the end of the table. Well, anyway, it's been fun doing these. Turn 3 will be coming up for next week. This is really bit into my painting time. I really need to get back to painting too. Get some of these grayed out, primed up units painted so they don't stand out on the table so much. Well, anyway, if you like this thing, leave a comment down below. Give me a like. Subscribe if you want. Start a conversation. Ask questions. Let me know what you think. And that's it. I will see you next time with turn 3 coming up, and maybe I'll break some of these models off the table and get them painted up before next time. Everybody stay safe, stay well.